Morning here in Camp Massatators, and we're planning to get out early. We just are waiting for the mosquitoes to disappear for the morning. Morning here in Camp Massatators, where the forecast is even hotter than yesterday. Woohoo! Huh. That's a turtle slide. That is one big turtle, or a lot of little ones. Well, I guess that explains the canine tracks. Coyotes. And we are about to get on the water. 7:30 and it is bloody hot already. So things were nice and calm, but our friends are shooting by at high speed here to add some waves so Taters can get her morning workout. Ugh. Even on the video it looks freaking hot, Jen. And not in a sexy way. Yes, and that. Sweat and Dragonflies is today's episode. And we are off a little earlier this morning because we have another nice person coming to meet us in about, what, 30, 40 miles, something like that? 30. Oh, only 30. So we have to get there by 2 o'clock. And we try not to have people meet us at like 8 p.m. since apparently people not on the river don't stay up until 10:30 at night eating and watching Nutrient. Just couldn't figure out what the heck was going on. It sounds like we are running over sand. As near as we can tell, it's actually propeller noise from his little hard turn over there. And once again, we have tow oddness. They haven't been on the radio, but he's parked waiting to do this turn. And there's a guy behind us who is stopped right in the middle of the turn. Not sure what's going on, because obviously there is a line. So you can see the extreme lack of current around that can, but behind it the water's really moving. This is because we're around a bend and all the current is on the outside, and yet us sad little canoeists have to stay on the inside because we don't want to be run over by them. And that means he just hit the gas pedal. This got busy enough. We've been trying to hail on the radio just to make sure he's not coming out, but we haven't gotten any response yet. Unfortunately, there's no internet, so we can't really get the vessel names, and they seem to be bad about not responding if you don't specifically call out their vessel. And that way over there is apparently where the Arkansas River comes in and joins the Mississippi. Two o'clock, we've done about 30 miles, and hopefully we should have a friend waiting for us over there. A friend with cold drinks. Unfortunately, we are still seeing a lot of really big dead fish. It's always really awesome to meet folks, and we really appreciate the cold stuff, but oh, it is a pain in the butt to get the boat up. Totally subtle costume change later.
Check out that boat rib.
Okay, so we got cold beer, ice, more water, and a very subtle costume change, as you can see. The brightness is not off on the phone. That's actually that bright. Jen keeps going like that.
So I actually really like that pattern. It just didn't really seem to speak Matt to me. But after looking at him in an hour, I'm already coming around to it.
She did make me put pants on, though. The first hour...
No, you had pants on the whole time. Don't be weird.
She can't see. Turns out I'm so bright, it's like looking at the sun. I'm like helicoptering and she doesn't even notice.
Okay, cut that.
That's the new, don't put that on
also,
YouTube.
You didn't mention the Danishes. There were Danishes.
Oh yes, cherry Danishes and beer. Did I mention the beer? And it was cold. So I'd actually looked at Jolly Gear stuff before. I'm not that big a fan of the look of it, but I wanted something that was button up with a hood, and this is about the only option. They have a boat called the Porta-John, Jen.
They do? That's awesome.
Anybody seen King of the Hill? Daryl. So thanks to Trey, we were able to top off on water, so we probably have about 14 liters on us, which is more than we need, which is good because when it's this hot, we're probably using 2 to 3 gallons, 3 gallons a day probably, between cooking and just the drinking and everything, and we don't want to run low. We've heard of people getting it from the tows, but we prefer to carry it ourselves. And we're probably about 3 days away from Vicksburg, which is our next opportunity for a stop. We're not sure if we're going to stop there or go a little further. The best radio traffic is actually Drama, and they've just made an arrangement of they were going to pass him on the port side, only for him to go starboard. And the other guy just came back on the radio rather aggressively saying, well, it's not what we agreed, but you might as well stay over there now. This is how we entertain ourselves on the water for, X hours a day. This is a little more slope than we normally prefer, but it's workable. And we're a little on the late side here. Also, unfortunately, the water around here has gotten back to the kind of slimy, stinky dead fish, etc. So no cleaning up tonight.
Had another fairly straightforward paddling day today. I've been really enjoying this section of the river. It feels a little bit less developed than everything else since St. Louis. We saw a few houses, we saw one barge loading station today, and that was it. No other signs of industry right along the river or cities right along the river. Also, we had the first section right here before we set up camp, the first section since the locks, where there was trees and vegetation all the way right down to the river. Without giant sandbars blocking, giant shallow areas, big wing dams that we had to go around. So I really enjoyed getting to paddle right up next to the trees as well. The forest out here is really pretty. Highlight of the day was meeting up with Trey, someone who's been watching since early on, so that was really fun. And loving Matt's new shirt, very, very bright in the front of the boat now. I've been missing the island campsites a little bit. The islands there's still a few islands in this section, but they've been sparser and haven't quite lined up with our timing. So we're just on a little patch of sand on the Arkansas side. Home sweet home for the night.